kazoo.
For those of you who didn't know, that is the Manly in his younger years in that video. I don't know how many people actually knew that. Welcome one and all to Tavern Talk, THL's first and only official recap show. We got Season 3 Corruption Week 1 under our belts. We're headed into Week 2 and Spring Prelims. Got a lot to talk about tonight, so on tap, all we have is pure hype. Our rules for this evening. I cannot lie. I am drinking a fine 2016 blend of some natural spring water because I have Lyme disease.
Bible thump.
So for those of you who don't know, my liver's already dying from the medication I'm on, which I can't remember whether or not I took tonight. Good times.
Please remember.
So when any of us says feels anything, man, for me it's probably going to be feels dying, man. Power rankings are back, and so is the Power Hour. Wicked Wednesday, we're going to have our lovely little waterfalls, which is pretty much my way of saying you better finish your drink by the time our Wicked Wednesday recap is done. Oh, God, I hope there's some extra livers out there drinking for me tonight. It feels weird to have this H2O in my cup, but maybe the show won't suck tonight. Who knows? To my left, your right, as always, holding down his spot is the one and only bearded beauty, Mr. Slim. How are you this evening, sir?
I've got no idea what you were referring to earlier, but I am good about me and my younger years. But yes,
The
I'm
kazoo
good.
kid, man.
Oh, the kazoo.
Saying you were the kazoo kid.
Oh.
Fun.
Oh, I love the kazoo kid. That's adorable.
Well, of course, you love yourself. So therefore...
Yeah, you know.
I have to say, the way your microphone is sitting right now, I do not move it. Do not move it. It looks like
you got a mustache.
You got awesome, like, janitor's push broom mustache thing going on right now, and I love it. Keep it. Anchor in his corner, as always, right here below me is the one and only Mr. Cassie. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm also not drinking. I've been sick all week. So, just now starting to get a little better. So I got the Diet Orange Soda.
Damn.
Big K, Kroger special.
So we need some extra livers out there to put in work for Cassie and I tonight. Slim's just going to drink on behalf of all of us. But enough of that. Let's get on with the show, man, because we are officially into Season 3. We've got a week under our belts. We've got a week coming. But before we could get to all that excitement, we have to talk about our Wicked Wednesday that went down last night. I did this thing where I came home from work and thought I was going to sit down and relax, and I accidentally took a 7-hour coma. So I can't really speak much to what went down on Wicked Wednesday because unfortunately I didn't get to play. But Slim, you were there, and Cassie, I'm sure you were hanging about and heard about it.
Nope, I was sleeping too, man. I'm with you.
I was not in this one. I had manlet matters to attend to, but I got to it at one point. Heard some salt in Discord.
Wow. So the Tavern Talk crew is just failing. We're all dying.
It's been a week, man.
We're all dying. We didn't take part in the Wicked Wednesday, but I can tell you this. Former Entropy member Mark Shire definitely represented, and current...
He's had a good week.
Yeah, current Team Rank 5 member MV Parker also representing as they made it to the finals, as well as your boy Jesus C, our MVP, taking the 3 spot in this week's Wicked Wednesday. Did you hear about... did they come in and talk about it at all?
Nope, just that happened, and they played pretty well, I guess, and Parker was salty because he lost, but that's Parker. But hopefully that translates to... Excuse me. Hopefully that translates to their matches this week.
Yeah.
Your brain slug.
You would like to think that performance in a THL-style tournament would also translate to success in the THL week. Manlet, I hope that Nancy enjoyed her birthday last night because that is the only Manlet business I could think you were attending to. That will keep you from Wicked Wednesday. Did you spend?
We won't talk about Nancy.
You spent some of that beef jerky money on Nancy, didn't you?
No, the beef jerky money hasn't been redeemed yet. Cassie 14's dying. Bible.
Oh man,
Bible.
I was dying on like Sunday and Monday.
All right, so Wicked Wednesday happened. Numbers were not as high as we'd like, but you know, with Cassidy and myself dying, and with the Manlet out doing Manlet things, there's 3 guys that usually get in there. So next week, let's get those numbers back up at the Wicked Wednesday because Markshire, I'm coming for the ass. All right, I'm pumped to talk about this. Very interesting. Really glad THLAP came back this season. Power rankings went out this morning, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to try to make that its regular day this season? Question mark.
Yeah, that's correct. The AP let us know about that.
So, for those of you who are like me and look forward each week to the power rankings coming out, they will be coming out on Thursdays this season as opposed to Wednesdays of last season, which is nice because all that fire and anger from when I read it in the morning will pop back up just in time for Tavern Talk. For those of you who are not aware of where the power rankings are, they're right there in the THL blog. So, I want to hear your guys' thoughts first. Because I just really began to digest this afternoon. What are some shockers to you? Anything you weren't expecting? Any big upsets, moves that, whatever? What do you guys think?
My overall thing that I noticed is basically just huge movement for a lot of teams. Like there was no small, tiny movements like we saw as the season dragged on last season.
Mm-hmm.
Like teams, generally speaking, went at least 4 ranks up or down, depending on their loss or win. And some of them even, I think Zenergy was the biggest mover, went 12 ranks up, which is insane. So yeah, that was my main impression, is just how volatile things seem here early on.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing. It felt like there was a lot of movement on a week by week basis. And like teams like Pure Strategy and the Generals and Zenergy, like just shooting up the rankings. So we'll see if everybody can sustain that. But like having Zenergy went from 17 to 5th, and they beat, who was it that they beat?
I don't want to talk about it.
It was Entropy, right? Yeah.
I don't
Oh, I
want to
guess
talk.
THLAP had Entropy pretty high to start the season.
Yeah.
But that feels like a lot because like I could see maybe jumping that high if Zenergy beat like Supreme or Team Rank 5 in
Well,
like a 5-0 sweep. But
keep in mind
know.
that the AP also placed Zenergy too low initially because AP had
Yeah.
incorrect roster information. So this
That's
is
true.
probably, it's also compensating for that. I think maybe by like 3
Yeah.
or so.
Yeah.
It's still a lot though.
I kind of think that with the whole vibe right now of Hearthstone in general, I like what happened with the power rankings this week. I feel there was a lot of shakeup to it. As Slim was pointing out earlier, it wasn't those like 1 or 2 spot jumps that we saw. Some teams made some huge, 6 to 12 rank leaps. I
Mhm.
kind of feel like overall that's where Hearthstone is right now. As we came into this season with a brand new set in front of us, the expansion now, new format, so many question marks, and things that were awesome week 1 of Whispers are kind of thrown out the window now, and things that we didn't think were going to be good are kind of showing what they've got. And this feel I'm currently getting from Hearthstone in general is that nothing's really going to stay where it is. There's constant shaking and movement in the game as a whole right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like to have so much movement within the rankings, it kind of feels right. And I think especially in these early weeks with so many question marks of teams that had players we don't know or players we did know but in positions we weren't familiar with, I wouldn't be surprised to continue to see these huge leaps or drops over the next few weeks within the power rankings themselves.
Yeah, there's 20 teams. There's a lot of room to move around. It's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's also true. Yeah.
In speaking to our own teams, because we know a great deal of our inner workings right now. I would like to get your guys' thoughts on where you think your team fell and how you feel about where your team fell.
Oh, in the power rankings?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We went down to number 2 after winning, but I think that's fair. I don't think THLEP knew about Racy on Supreme. And I think once you saw that, and then once you saw their 4-1 win, it was pretty tough not to put them number one. So that's fair. We had a narrow victory, winning 3-2 with Team Rank 5, and I don't know, like it didn't even feel like a win. Moxie, Imbolc, and MV Parker are all really, really good. Jesus almost got a win as the 4, and then Donnie, I didn't see the stream. I heard he struggled pretty hard falling to Gemini in the 5. So there's question marks with Team Rank 5 for sure, and that's a big deal going forward. Probably the weakest the roster's been in the last 3 seasons, I would say. I think most of us would say. So we're definitely very beatable this time around, and I wouldn't be surprised if we fell a couple more spots as the season went on before we really found and hit our groove going forward.
Yep, Coach Cassidy needs more time.
He needs
We're
more
trying.
He
We're
needs more
Needs to
trying.
CCs.
recover.
More
I
CCs
need
for CC.
I need my potato to be around so I can water him, man, you know?
Quit hiding, potato.
For me, for the Gosu Casuals, so we fell to 9 from 5, and a lot of teams had placed us between there.
Mhm.
So I have a feeling we might climb back up from where we are, but we were probably placed too high initially. Still figuring some things out. I had a very tough loss myself, which I'm not used to. So I
Must be nice.
gotta stop doing that. And just us as a whole too. We suffered a few 3-0s. We're still trying to figure out what works. We definitely learned a lot from like even what didn't work in the first week, and what did work, at the same time. So, and there's not that much research to do on players either.
No.
Like a
Right.
lot of what they brought last week, they didn't bring it this week. So it's just like, yeah,
Yeah, it is what it is.
gotta give it another stab this week and see if things go a little bit better.
I kind of feel like we are in the same boat as Gosu. And week 1 was not kind to us. If anybody watched my meltdown and tilt punt, that's how you don't play Hearthstone. But anyways, I think it's fair. We fell a great deal, and to be honest, the first time I did the power rankings, before I took some other things into consideration, I initially had entropy listed at 15, and currently the PHLAP has us at 14. I don't think that's unfair by any stretch of the imagination. I think we only scored like 5 or 6 points last week, and the bulk of that was coming from 3-2 losses. We weren't able to capitalize on a win. However, we do have a 3 seed that just made it to Legend with the meme deck. So,
Me quote unquote meme deck.
I don't know if it's a meme, but he's winning.
So the one good thing I can say is, as weak as our performance was, and as weak as our PR lineup is looking right now, if you hung out in the entropy lobby, you would not know it. Really strong group of guys and personalities, and really highly motivated to turn that week 1 loss into a week 2 success, especially against our boys over there at Tryhard Storm, who falls 1 rank below us right now. So, we're fighting to keep our 14 spot. Our
Try
Storm.
hard, Storm. Only team with a DQ feels bad, man.
So we're keeping that 14 spot, Archon. You stay down there in your 15. But THLAP, thank you for the power rankings and for putting them out. Can't wait to see what next week brings after these matches shake out and we see where everybody falls. Speaking of matches that were, week 1. Some interesting things went down week 1. I think one of the most interesting things to potentially talk about is the matchup that was Pure Strategy versus NWA.
Yeah.
Many folks thought very highly of NWA coming in. I don't know if that's exactly changed, but I don't know if this was the outcome we expected. What were your guys' thoughts on the overall matchup there?
It was. Oh, you got it.
No, you go.
All right. It was obviously surprising, but this is kind of what Pure Strategy does, right? Like last season, they beat Supreme week 1, and we wanted to just anoint them the next coming, and they're definitely going to make the playoffs now, and then they kind of went by the wayside and lost a couple matches in equally as surprising and spectacular fashion. So I'm not ready to like jump completely on the pure strategy bandwagon. I think a lot of them, I think they're a solid roster, but I'm not going to say that they're the team to beat. And likewise, I'm not going to jump off the NWA bandwagon just because they had a couple really rough games. Because Hot Asian Girl's not going to get swept in a Conquest format often, if at all, ever again. And I don't think Salt is going to have a week that bad again. He struggled a little bit on stream. He had that one game where he left a spawn in his Zoth alive against Zoo, and he paid a dear price for it. Um, but otherwise, I don't know. Crayon lost. Like, how often is Crayon going to lose in the 4 seed? He lost to one of the only other 4 seeds around his PR level. And Drudded, question mark there, but who knows? Because he, again, was a heavy underdog. So I think maybe it was a good matchup, coupled with early season, not as predictable stuff. And Pure Strategy had their ducks in a row, and NWA didn't, but it's still so early. I still think NWA is right at the top of teams.
Yeah, Cran, one of the players we've been looking at the most on that team, was able to pull out a win for
Oh,
NWA.
he did win. I read that
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, but
Okay.
Hot Asian Girl and Salt getting swept was very surprising, and yeah,
Mhm.
it's probably not gonna happen too much. Yeah, Tony, I think we still need to learn a bit about Tony. Who there was a pretty big PR gap between Tony and Applesauce Factory, although Applesauce Factory's been a
Yeah, he's
established
established.
player for the most part, and yeah, we'll get to see more of Drudded. Salt's feeling really good about Drudded in the 5 slots. So, yeah, whatever happens, they're definitely licking their wounds and thinking how they can jump back from it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still interested in seeing them, but yeah, it's so early in the season. I don't know whether it's a bad sign for NWA, a really good sign for Pure Strategy, or both, or neither, or what. Really,
It's a
it's
week.
it was a week,
Yep.
and we've tried to gather information from it.
Yeah, I think I would just be repeating a combination of what both of you said. I think I stand with Cassie in the fact that I'm not jumping off the NWA wagon for all the reasons he said. So great lineup on that side, and knowing Jody and Saul, um, they're just gonna take this as a reason to kick somebody's ass week 2, and to improve and move forward with that. And also, I think Pure Angry Chickens had a great showing this week. Um, and I expect to see this level of consistency from them in winning, but I don't think they'll have as dominating performances for throughout the season. That's a
Hmm.
tough precedent to set and maintain. So
you,
I, it's just
oh,
too early to tell.
you know what I thought was really interesting though? Pure Strategy, they all brought Druid, and they're doing it again this week. So I really wonder what's going on over there.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, I do too.
It's pretty funny. It's looking like pre-nerf.
Hmm.
I don't know. Just a thought.
So here's another thought. Um, Team Avatar
Yes.
against the Gosu Casuals,
Yes.
in the sense that I think it was unanimous all the way across the board. Everybody from the three of us to THLAP to the community had Team Avatar at 20th. And our little lemur decided to put his lemur height up against manlet height. And you were there, Slimsh. What happened?
Yeah. So in my series, I don't think I was ever going to win that series, but I could have made it closer. Uh, the last match was just enough to make your blood boil.
Hmm.
And yeah, G-Nets and I aren't friends anymore.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, Michael and Adam, they got swept. Haven't been preparing as closely with them as some other members of the team. So yeah, looking at that for sure. Jing Budo was able to bring out a win, although what you can't see here in his 3-2 win is that he was up 2-0 and was nearly reverse swept. So there's still lessons to be learned there, even when you're winning. If you nearly get reverse swept, you gotta take a look at why that is. And the Anarchist, which is a scary name, but he's a really nice guy, who is another Parker in the league. His last name's Parker anyway. took 3-0 against Owens. So we're happy about that. New player comes on, gets a big win. So kind of upsetting loss. Feels bad to get bullied, but you know, we'll we'll bounce back hopefully. Try to learn from it. Definitely hurts, but this happened last season too. We lost to Supreme, but yeah, I don't know. It's a really good sign for Team Avatar for sure. They've got to be feeling great about it going up against Pure Strategy this week now. So
Yeah. Um, I was gonna ask if you thought that Team Avatar was leaning on their experienced players, but then I realized that G-Nets, he's new to the league this season. And I call Pumbaa, for those who don't play in the Wicked Wednesdays, Pumbaa's been in just about every damn Wicked Wednesday there's been,
oh yeah,
right? The guy's always out there. So even though this is his first season, he knows most of these guys that he's playing against. Um, but do you think we'll continue to see? Because in my opinion, Yu-Gi-Oh! Adam here going up against Jing, I think very highly of Jing in the 2 seed. Do you think that Avatar will continue to grow and we'll see maybe them be one of those teams that's 1 through 4 solid, and then just hope that their potato wins every now and then with Odafen down there? Or am I giving Yu-Gi-Oh! Adam too much credit too soon?
uh, I don't know. I think we need more data.
More
I don't
data.
Yeah.
think we need to see more Pumbaa's, um, more of Lemur in the 4 spot. Although I think he did okay for the most part last season on the Dream Team in that
Mm.
slot most of the time, and just more of G-Nets in general. I don't know. Beating me is definitely a good sign, I guess, but
I've beaten Slimsh. You don't
Yeah.
want to see my record as a 1 seed.
that's true.
It's like I want to say it's like 3-13 or something. Like no. Yeah, I'm with you. We got to see more. We need to see them be able to do it consistently against multiple opponents. But it's a good sign.
Cassie, I would really like on this next one here,
Next
because
one.
these are 2 teams you spoke of. I don't want to say like super in depth, but you had a lot to say about both
Oh,
the damaged ones and Aeon as
uh-huh.
we were doing our preseason rankings. Um, damaged ones take it 16-10 over Aeon.
Hmm.
What'd you glean from this? What'd you take from this matchup?
The damaged ones are for real, man. That's a team. I like the way they're. It looks like they're practicing well. They all had a very uniform strategy. They all banned Rogue. I believe that was the team that did that, right?
They brought Rogue. All their rogues were banned
Oh, okay.
for
That's
Team
right.
Aeon.
Aeon's the team that was very uniform and all banned Rogue, which is
Yeah.
interesting. Um, I don't know because it was such a close series, but um, I like Aeon having that uniformity to them, and I like the damage ones having the same kind of uniformity when it came to like classes. Like most of them brought warrior, most of them brought rogue, most of them brought paladin.
Hmm.
Like the classes you see, 4 out of 5 of their players are bringing, which is interesting. And it just looks like those guys, Soul Crusher and Robsosaurus, being at the lower end of 400, they beat some good opponents, and so I think they're for real. And Bites went 2-3 against Dot Dark, and then he won this week against his opponent. So I think Bites is also for real. So I like that team. I think they're a big time threat in the Orange Division. And then with Aeon, I'm starting to kind of feel this way in general. I'm giving these prelim qualifying players and the teams that they're on. I'm giving them a little bit of dang it, a pass early on because I think, and naturally and rightfully so, players are a little more focused on just completely honing in lineups, and maybe they're not practicing against the exact same lists or the same versions of lists and things we're seeing in THL, or they're using THL as another data point, which, I mean, like, why ban something if I want to find out if my lineup's good against it? And then maybe they find out the hard way that their lineup's not. So I don't know. With NWA, I still think Aeon's really strong. I'd like to see him going forward, but hopefully that gets going sooner rather than later because they don't have a lot of time given their division they're playing in.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. That blue division is actually there's quite. I was gonna say that blue division is scary, but so is that orange division. And really, I do have to say, I think that the way the divisions were split up this season, it's gonna make for some interesting games late on that like week 7 through 9 area. It's gonna be awesome to watch this all play out. So, Slim, did you have anything you wanted to add to that one?
No, not too much that I'd add to it. The Rogues really struck out to me that they, not so much that they were banned uniformly, but they all brought it a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and the classes as well, they had sprinklings of either Shaman or Mage to fill out their
Hmm.
lineups for the most part. And then Bites brought Paladin, Rogue, Warlock, and Warrior all along. So I wonder if Bites is, influencing quite a bit of the strategy among the team. It seems like, because I've never seen a team like this with so many rogue players. I don't know if they're doing it this week, but it seems like they are bringing quite a bit of rogue this week. Um, yeah, it seems like yeah, whatever they're doing, they are preparing really heavily, and they're really on top of what the meta is supposedly becoming, where Miracle Rogue, which is I'm guessing what they're playing, is coming
Yeah.
out as to be one of the top decks, and I think that is true. And you see it a lot in these spring prelim lineups that we're going to be discussing a little bit later. But I just don't think that Rogue is that type of class that a lot of THL is comfortable with
Yep.
enough to bring and form a lineup around. And to see a team that's actually doing it, like a good percentage of them, I think the only ones that come close are also Synergy, which is interesting, and Boom Squad bought 3 rogues. So I don't know, that sticks out to me a lot, and I think it's a really cool sign for them going forward. And just I thought it was interesting because we felt so strongly about Team Aeon initially, but
Right.
yeah, like we've been saying, it could still improve for that though.
So there was tons of other matchups, guys, that we could talk about. And with 20 teams, unfortunately, it's just impossible to talk about everything
Hmm.
that happened. However, we can touch on some of the matches to come in week 2. I kind of feel like before we jump into the segment, we should give a little nod to some of the things that are already underway, um, and hit on this Dream Team Yog Champs thing as number 1 and number 2 in red are squaring off in week 2. Um, Not that this is the biggest impact ever, but this is a good matchup of two strong teams in the red division. And they have already played 2 matches, correct? And it's tied currently 6-6, as
Hmm.
Dunamis has already played Arbitrary Armor, with the win going
Hmm.
to Arbitrary Armor, and the real Doctor Who has played Fasima, and that has gone in favor of the real Doctor Who 3-2.
Yep.
No, Fisama. That's my SPL player, by the way.
Oh, nice. Um, yeah, the Dream Team doing the double sub thing this week. Unfortunately, I had to steal Night Smoke back from them. So they went to the good old relief, the Sandman Necro Havoc. But as you look at the matchups left to be played, and with the information we already have, got Comp squaring off against Adidas, you got Necro Havoc going up against Lightweight, and Rad Dreams playing Lord Fordhead. I personally can't help but to think that the scales are tipped in favor of the Dream Team here. But what are your guys' thoughts?
How did lightweight do in week 1? I know lightweight is pretty new to the game overall on the Yogg champs. We haven't
Uh,
talked about her
three
a lot,
three
correct?
zero over Killajive.
Killjive. Oh, I heard about that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did hear
Oh
about that.
man. Yeah, lightweight. Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see that series a lot because Necro Havoc. Don't be fooled by him not officially being on a team. I'm sure he's still very directly involved with the Harry General's strategy discussion, and that he'll bring. Like, he's not going to take it easy going as a sub. And
Hmm.
Rad Dreams and Lord Forehead, who we hadn't seen a bit of since the Filthy Casuals were the Filthy Casuals. Um, yes, I don't know if Lord Forehead's a little bit rusty. Was there a loss to Nubasaurus in week 1? It was close though, 2-3. So hard to say there, but Rad Dreams is a pretty solid player within the 5 seed. He's pretty reliable, I'd think. And comp against Adidas, I think pretty highly of Adidas, but he's got spring prelims this week, so I think they better be playing soon, probably. I
Hmm.
would tend to favor Adidas, but this
Think
week
so.
seems like a funky one.
Yeah, I'm with you in the same way. I think Adidas is probably a slight favorite, and then I think Rad Dreams and Necro Havoc are both pretty serious favorites. So that's the way I see that one shaking out.
So
And the Dream Team would be in first 2 weeks into the season. Good on them.
I wonder if anybody gave them credit for being a solid squad before the season started.
Yeah, we'll see if they
We'll see.
hold
We'll
up.
see. I know it's early. It's early. Come on, listen. I gotta take credit where I can get it this season. All right. Speaking of trying to get some points in my column here, Try Hard Storm takes on me and the boys over at Entropy this week.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, I'm gonna say we're gonna win because fuck Archon Storm, and I really hope you guys are continuing to work on your Paragon game, and I hear that they actually kick ass at that, and that's not.
I'm sure
yeah.
they do.
That's not sarcastic in any way,
Like
shape, or form.
one of the best teams NA. Oh, good. Killjive submitted his class.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So let's hear from you guys because obviously we're winning, in my opinion.
I don't know. I think it's a toss-up because Archon Storm, they looked like they were into it last week, and then they got the only DQ. I don't think that'll happen again. And then you guys got to be ready to come back. The issue is the marquee signing himself, Smoke Salmon's out this week. So that's a hole that has to be filled. The 1 seed, I think Delta's at a disadvantage because Clark Kent is back up in his rightful throne on top of Archon Storm. And then Hertz Donut versus Furpo, that probably goes either way. I think Zather's favored over Killjive. I think you're favored over Nubasaur. So I think Entropy can definitely take this one.
Yeah, I hope you're right. Slimsh?
Yeah, I thought this one was interesting because there's kind of it's a close placing between Archon Storm and Yogg Champs, and Entropy's going to look to climb back in. Dream Team's holding it down at the top of Red now, I believe.
Yeah.
So as for where this one shakes down for Archon Storm and Entropy, you've got Night Smoke subbing up there in the 2 seed with 289 PR. That kind of feels bad against Verde. Yeah, I think Verde is very powerful in that matchup. Wow, he has a really colorful assortment of classes there. Delta 4-1 against Clark Kent. Delta 4-1's been talking to me in BattleNet. Seems to be getting pretty pumped into the league. I can definitely believe that Entropy's having good times over there.
Oh, yeah. Will's a blast, man.
Former near MVP Hertz Donut and against Furpo. I don't know if Furpo's definitely got one deck that's doing it. And I think pretty highly of Furpo in general, even against Hertz Donut. I think that's going to be a close one. And Killjive and Zather. I think that's pretty much a toss-up. And Jaxox and Nubasaur. I'm feeling pretty strong on Jaxox lately. Last week was a little. I think that was one of those moments where you feel kind of bad after something
I
happens.
I felt like Tiger Woods on the fucking par 3 if anybody watched golf last weekend. That's what I
Yeah.
felt like.
Yeah, well, I mean, you must have recognized something that happened within that series or something that could have gone better ahead of time. Even because, I don't know, it's a bad feeling. I'm sure you've talked about it with your team. So, I don't know. Overall, I actually think I'm favoring Archon Storm, but it's very close.
So, for my extremely biased opinion, I think if we're going to do this, it's going to have to come for 2 wins in the 3 through 5 spot, with the loss being very close. And I'm hoping. I really like Delta 4-1's plan this week.
Yeah.
He understands who he's up against in Clark Kent. He's not taking that lightly in any way, shape, or form.
Some rogues over there.
I really like his plan coming into this week, and I hope it works out for him, and we'll see. But if either him or, if we get 3 out of 3 from 4 through 5, I think we got a shot. Or if 2 out of 3 in Delta's plan working out, I think we're good to go. And Night Smoke's one of our SPL guys, and for those of you who have never hung out with Alex, he's a blast. So whether he gets stomped by Verde or not, I'm glad to have him up here with us in
Fair
THL this week. So we back over to the green division now. So we talked about the red, which is doing some interdivision stuff. our intra-division stuff. Green also has a matchup between Pure Strategy and Team Avatar that has a lot of. I think this is a very interesting matchup. Personally, I think these are two teams that have done a good job of what I like to call the consistency roster. Um, and there's a lot of potential ways this can go. What's your guys' thoughts?
Beep boop beep.
Oh, and by the way, we do have a result currently in from this matchup as G Nets has got himself a 3-0 over Alex Straza already. So G Nets in back-to-back week gained big wins over 500 plus PR people in the THL.
Yeah, for sure. That says a lot. Should pick crazy, but yeah, overall, oh man, I don't even know what to say after this start to it, because I feel like that's one where we were gonna talk a lot about. But for the remainder of it, there's Sergeant Hendog against Owen. Um, I feel like I'd favor Hendog a bit as one of the more solid 5 seeds, but
Mm-hmm.
who knows what happened last week? I believe, what was it? Yeah, I think my 5C player told me that Owen, there was some problem with the banning in the screenshots. So if that gets fixed, then it could be a little bit more advantageous. Obviously, Monkey Warlord looks to have a bit of an edge over Lemur. It's looking like, but then on the flip side, Pumbaa's BFF looks better over Applesauce Factory. Although we still need to learn a little bit more about Pumbaa. Although I think Applesauce Factory is on average a bit weaker than most 3 seeds,
Mm-hmm.
at least PR
Mm-hmm.
wise. And Hamboin against Yu-Gi-Oh! Adam. I'm feeling Hamboin all the way there. I
Yep.
think
Yeah,
what
Hambone's so good.
what I saw from Hamboin last week in Salty Saturday, and what had, like, he had even talked to me the next morning, like, about some things. Hamboin just seems to really be feeling like Hearthstone and
He's feeling it
competitive
right now. Yeah.
and competitive Hearthstone right now. He had some interesting takes on what was happening. So yeah, I probably, I mean, it's hard to say this now, but I think even with being down 0-3, I'd still favor Peer Strategy in the 2, 4, and 5 slots.
Yeah, I'm with
Yeah.
you. I think Avatar had to steal either that 1 or that 2 seed matchup just to get into the match, and they did. So good for them. It being a sweep is also relevant to total points for the series. But I think Cam Bowen is a big favorite just based on the information we have for him and don't have yet for Yu-Gi-Oh! Adam totally. That 3 seed does feel a little toss-uppy, and then the 4 seed feels the same way. And I think Hendog is a huge favorite in the 5 seed. So I think Pure Strategy has 2 big favorites in 2 and 5, and then they would have to lose the other 2 to lose the series. So I still give them the edge, I think.
It's pretty crazy how it works that way. Maybe we're just not giving Team Avatar enough credit.
Mm.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
we'll
So
see.
I'm kind of in. I think this is a coin flip here on out. Is for the reasons of I'm with you guys. I think Hambone wins in the 2 seed. I think Pumbaa wins in the 3. I think Hendog wins in the 5. But I don't count Lemur out of this matchup with Monkey Warlord.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I think Monkey Warlord has been really solid throughout his history in THL in the various seeds he's played in because I believe he was a 3 at one point.
Yeah.
As well. And as we know, the 3 seed is probably the most difficult seed to play in the THL because you have guys like Imbolc and MV Parker down there who should really be, 2 seeds, debatably 1 seeds in certain divisions. And then you have guys that are the legit Applesauce Factory 3 seed looking PRs. So I think if Lemur pulls it off, we give the nod to Avatar. If Monkey Warlord pulls it off, it goes to Pure Strategy. I think this match is decided in the 4 seed. That's just my personal view on it. So, in other words, Monkey Warlord, you're probably going to win because Lemur is just an awful human being. But if any of you say that, I'll come kick your ass. That's my little Lemur, damn it. Supreme versus the Harry Generals. I feel like this is a matchup that, whether they feel that way or not, it's a clash of the Titans. It may not be a rivalry, but it's definitely got that Red Sox Yankees feel for me. I feel like they're always battling for the top of that blue division, and one is always pushing the other one out of the way. Um, we know Supreme is stacked this season, but I think we could all agree. Maybe I'm the only one that feels this way though, but the Harry Generals are the question marks we had about their roster with losing. Well, I can't think of his name right now. That absolutely awesome one seed they had last season. Help me here.
What's
Poker.
that?
Poker.
Oh yeah, poker.
Poker was the name I was looking for. They still feel solid, and there's actually results in from this already as
Mm.
our boy Markshire not only takes down Wicked Wednesday, but he takes down Dear Jason.
For the second time.
And Ray C puts a whooping on Mr. Arcane Fu in a 3-1 result. So we have a what is that? Is that 5-5? Can I count? No, that's 6-5 in favor of
6-5.
Supreme. Um, how does it play out from here on out, man?
I think if you go even in some of the higher seeds, it's funny I say higher seeds looking at 3 when it comes to Supreme.
Yeah, right.
If you trade relatively even like this, you might feel pretty good about it. I wouldn't rule Andy Rogers out for winning against Cheesy at all.
No.
So there's definitely still a lot to happen. The Harry Generals has their power in the 4 and 5 seed on paper, at least, like big time power on paper against the Vedney and Sneaky Hero.
Yeah, the theory's already going to be tested in week 2, right? We said in the preseason, or at least I did, I feel like if you can steal a game from anybody in the top 3 seeds against Supreme, I think you're automatically, like, you become a serious favorite to win that match. And the Generals now, I think, are. I mean, Gern Blanston, we know how good he is as a 5 seed. He's playing against a brand new Hearthstone player in Sneaky Hero who's been playing for like a month. And then Vicarious is a 130 or 120 rather. No, 112. Jeez, math is hard.
It is.
112 PR
Try
favorite
teaching it.
over Vedney, and Vedney got swept last week. So, like, the Generals look really good in those 2 spots, and if they win those 2 matches, they don't need Andy to do anything. So, yeah, I think the Generals have this one. They're in the driver's seat, and we'll see if that theory holds or if I'm just full of it. So, good on Markshire for getting his team in a position to steal a win here.
Yeah, that's a huge win. Markshire just continues to impress, and I continue to feel bad, man, that he's not wearing my badge anymore. Damn it, Markshire.
Feels bad, man.
It does feel bad, man. But you know what? I'm glad to see him having success over there with the Harry Generals. I agree with you guys. It looks like if the Harry Generals get the 4 and 5 spot, Andy Rogers could put it on cruise control and just get as many points as he wants, or he could do the Queen Andy thing and beat Cheesy.
The Queen.
But I think it looks really good in the 4 and 5 spot for the Harry Generals right now. I think Markshire really, he kind of just the alley oops up there. One of them just got to slam it home now.
Yeah, I love seeing these 2 teams go at it. I'd like to say that we'd see some of it on Salty Saturday, but it is it's a busy weekend for a lot of the Supreme players over there. In fact, the majority of them.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get to that more. There's a fun little question about that later on. Aside that, we haven't really spoken much about so far in the Orange Division, although every time I look at the Orange Division, I get a little scared down there. The Boom Squad, D Lyman, and the folks over there at the Meme Team Supreme are taking on you, Cassidy, or Coach Cassidy and Team
Coach
Rank
Cassidy.
5.
We already have one result under our belts as
Oh, we got the whole result. Rip Team Rank 5.
Oh no!
Moxie lost. It's over.
Oh wow.
Pizza's really good. Good for Pizza.
Parker says, "Get out the knee pad, boys."
Yeah, he's a little late to the party, but Pizza is a really, really good player. We're gonna hear more about him as the season goes on, I think. And this is a step for him. He takes down Moxie 3-1 here early in the week, getting ready for prelims. Now we've got D Lyman against Imbolc. I mean, I'm not gonna call Imbolc favored. I'm not gonna call D Lyman favored. It's probably pretty even. We got Parker versus Brunson. I think we win that one. Jesus Asuna, we're an underdog again. And then I am Plan B against Tiny Hippo. I think we're a slight underdog there as well. So we got to find a way to win 3, and I think we're only like legitimately favored in one of those, and it's going to be a rough week. So maybe we can pull one out, but this looks like a tough one.
How the potatoes doing? Is Jesus C MVP ready to take out the newly legend Asana?
Jesus has been working, man. He is just learning a million decks. And so, like, there's not a deck that we tell Jesus he's not allowed to play anymore, which is a big step up for a potato in Team Rank 5 land. Usually we say, nope, that deck's not. Like, he brought Warrior this week.
Yeah,
I can't tell you how many times we've said, no, Jesus, you're not bringing Warrior over the last 2 seasons, but he gets to do it this week, and we'll see how it goes. We've got faith in him.
Faith in Jesus C, our MVP. Slim, do you have a different take or anything to add to Cassie's analysis of this?
I just thought this was going to be an interesting match because Boom Squad found themselves with a good win last week over. It was Netherstorm. No, it wasn't. It was. God, they played Noob Central. Yeah,
Yes.
so they find themselves in third spot. They're going up against second in superheroes, or not those Team Rank 5. God.
Come
So if
on.
they, so I don't know. I just see this as those early season rankings that might not mean the world, but it could mean a lot for Boom Squad if they win. I think they're looking kind of good as the season's starting out here,
Mm,
and yeah, I'm really impressed with what Asana's done there and hitting legend for the first time. And
wild.
yeah, Pizza's really been proving himself. I don't know how much they're communicating within the team. Pizza really seems solid. I'm sure Pizza's got a lot to say. I know that's a friend of D Lyman's
Mm-hmm.
from local area too.
Yeah, I'm pretty
As
sure
well.
he's also a friend of Chef Sasha. He's usually hanging out
Yeah.
in Sasha's stream there. Which, by the way, shout out to Asuna and Sasha for a great show last night.
Oh
For
yeah.
those who didn't get a chance to watch,
Yeah.
you should find that VOD.
So yeah, I tend to believe in Team Rank 5, even when they don't believe in themselves. But yeah, Moxie losing the match hurts a lot because they went through great pain to recruit and place Moxie on their team. It's kind of something new for Team Rank 5. They never really had this kind of one seed on their team
Mm-hmm.
before, so it came at a cost for sure because Team Rank 5 is just not built the way that it used to be. I think that might even be a direct quote from AP from the power ranking. So yeah, I don't know. I'll be interested to see the rest of this one shake out. I don't know if we're gonna see any of it on Team Rank Friday or Sunday Ticket, but yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it.
I got my eyes on the 2 seed matchup and the 5 seed matchup. I think that's where this one's decided, personally. And I really like, as I'm looking through the Orange Division, I think the 2 seed, this might be one of my favorite 2 seed divisions to watch. As you look through it top to bottom with players like Inbulk
Yep.
and D Lyman in the 2 seed, Cutthroat, who has had pretty good success in the 2
Twiz,
seed.
or no, that's blue.
No, that's blue.
Okay.
Don't know much about Cracksmith yet, but I've heard good things about him. You know, 2 seed in
It's going
Soul
to
Crusher. Yeah.
Cracksmith is going to prelims.
So this is a really fun division to watch the 2 seed play out in. And I think when you put D Lyman and Inbulk up against each other, don't pay any attention to that PR ranking there of D Lyman. That 409 is deceiving. Um, I don't think that's a
Would you
big of a
would
gap as you think.
would you say that D Lyman is underrated?
I
Uh,
would.
I would actually. Yeah. Um, so, and I also don't think the Donnie advantage over Tiny Hippo is as blaring as it's been. But I know Donnie's been working. Well, I don't know about this week, but I know leading up to the season, Donnie was putting in a lot of work trying to
Yeah.
improve. So we'll see if that work pays off here. Coin flip, but if I had to pick right now, if you put a gun to my head, I would probably say Team Rank 5. But I think Boom Squad has a great shot at it with the way they started this thing off.
Uh, It's interesting. This is the second time that we're feeling a team that's down heavily from losing in the 1 seed.
Yeah,
But as we know in THL, every seed counts for the same amount of points. So
exactly. If 5 seed wins count just as much as 1 seed wins. Um, so that's what we were looking at, guys, coming into week 2. There's tons of matchups out there. There is going to be, I don't see a list here, guys. I don't know if we got the Salty Saturday or the Team Rank Friday lineups going. But I do know there's going to be one matchup played tomorrow on Team Rank Friday, as at 9 o'clock, myself and Nubasaurus will be throwing down. So tune in and check that out. And I'm sure that Mange will let us know through Facebook, if he's not letting us know currently in chat, what that lineup's going to look like for Team Rank Friday. And I actually don't see the email thread for Salty Saturday, but I'm sure it's happening. As Mr. Slim, aren't you hosting that one for us this week?
oh yeah, shame on me for not. I'll get those. We can talk some prelims while I dig this on.
Yeah. So for those of you who are not aware, we have how many people says that 8? We have 8 folks from the THL going to spring prelims. Feels good, man.
Yeah, that's insane. How many people in total are even at the spring prelims for NA?
Counting the Tavern Hero thing, I want to say is it like 200.
All right, so we've got a somewhat respectable percentage in there, really, considering how many like Hearthstone players get up to that kind of point total that it takes to get there and sort of deal. Got updates that Hot Asian Girl won his match 3-1
Nice.
against.
Yeah, 32 Tavern Heroes, and then there's the Tavern Hero tournament, and then the top 32 finishers from that join 128 of the America's top ranked players. So
Okay.
we have 2 of the Tavern Heroes. They're doing their thing tomorrow, I believe, and then maybe they'll move on, and then the other 6 are already part of that top 120. So
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, man. It's crazy to think of, like, let's put this in perspective. This league started with 20 people, right? So over a quarter of the population that we started this league with here in our 3rd official season is now representing us in a pool of 128 people. We have, what did you say, 6? And then 2 of those are Tavern Heroes, and the total math is hard. What is that, 170 people total? So
yeah.
Math.
I only teach you guys. Don't ask me to do it. I can tell you how to do it. I don't know. So that's really exciting to hear. We got Dear Jason, Cheesy, and Ray C from Team Supreme. So
Team Supreme.
they're kind of good over there. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you off the top of my head, Adidas. I know you have your own team this season. Yak Champs, right?
Yeah.
Whew. Sorry, it's getting to that point where I'm like passing out, literally sitting here. The real Doctor Who is representing
Yog Champs.
Wow.
It's like
Moxie,
a mini Supreme.
right? Moxie is representing for Team Rank 5.
Yep.
Hot Asian Girl is representing for NWA. And Cracksmith, who I just talked about, he's on the superheroes, correct?
Superheroes, yeah.
Look, I didn't even have to look that one up. I'm getting better at this.
Wow.
So awesome work to those guys. Really, really excited to know that I am involved in something that has people of that talent in it. And one day, I will never be as good as you.
Yeah, definitely be looking out for their names in the bracket, assuming it goes up. If they're on
Hopefully
stream,
they get on stream.
If they're on stream, we gotta
We'll
get
go
in there
crazy in Facebook. I
and
think
give 'em
between
our
Slimsh
energy.
and I, we will watch every single match live this weekend.
It either feels good, man, or it feels bad.
It's a little bit of both, but you know what? We'll be there together.
Yeah, that's all that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Discord watch party, everybody
That'd
be
be fun.
there.
that actually sounds like a blast.
Oh yeah,
That's what we do.
Salt mentions it in chat. Silent Storm is screwed.
Oh yeah.
He's got a minefield of a bracket for
He
sure.
really does.
Yeah, I would not want to be Silent Storm. I don't think he even knows is the issue. Like,
Well, that's
you
the
could at
best.
least know.
He doesn't even know where it's coming from.
He's gonna lose to, like, I don't know, Who would be a lower seed here? Like Craximus or Moxie in like round 1, and then in the losers bracket he's gonna drop to like, I don't know. Maybe somebody upsets Dear Jason in round 1, and then he beats Silent Storm in the losers bracket. Oh, it's gonna be marvelous.
Yeah, he's done.
So check that out. As well as we did finally get the Salty Saturday lineup in here. Some interesting matchups actually. Really happy to see. I'm not gonna lie, I'm hyped as fuck for that last one. Um, so we're gonna kick things off with Grim versus Dreaded as some 5 seeds throw down. And we talked about that one. That one could have some implications. Um, Actually, all of these we highlighted tonight as possibly having implications. As Druid's looking to help NWA recover this week, and Grim is looking to solidify his fan favorite status. Applesauce Factory takes on Pumbaa's BFF, 2 players we highlighted tonight as growing entities within the THL, and their matchup has some implications as well. And then Lemur and Monkey Warlord, the match that I stated I believe will decide that matchup. Um, I'm actually
Yeah,
really hyped that we're getting to see that.
yeah, we'll get to see a lot of that peer strategy team avatar series unfold. Maybe there will be even more matches other than G-Nets and Alex Straza played beforehand.
Mm.
Yeah, so that'd be cool. We'll get to see some 5, 3, and then 4 seed matches in that order on Salty Saturday, and it's going to be myself casting, and I'll be joined with Comp once again. We're going to be 2-manning it, and I'm also going to be producing the stream. So,
So,
should be,
guys, give Slimsh your height.
yeah, it's gonna be good times.
Slimsh, if you pull this off and I enjoy watching, you might even become 5'3 1/4.
Woo! There we go.
So, you work hard for that height.
Yeah.
Before we head into our next segment, PSA. I should have hyped this more in Facebook, but kind of was a late addition to the docket tonight. And while I'm doing this, I also realized I did not pull up the link properly. But we have, for those who are around season 1 or have ever watched a stream that has had Cassidy, actually Slimster myself, I'm not sure if Cassidy has one. You may have seen those gorgeous hoodies.
I do not have one.
Yeah. So.
Oh, but I know what I'm about to get. Don't you worry. We got tank tops coming, THL. I think I'm gonna get one in every color.
THL, we are once again trying to get some money together for our prizes. You know, for those of you who were in on season 1's hoodie sweatshirt fiasco, not fiasco, it was good time. Fiesta is the word I was looking for. We're going at it again. The proceeds from this are going to go. Whoops, I'm messing up things. Somehow I've messed up OBS.
Are you trying to share the link?
No,
Oh,
I had the screen shared. I opened a new tab for it, and it grabbed it from the wrong tab and messed everything up. So go me. So let me try to do this properly this time. Bam, there we go. So THL, the link is in chat. It'll take you to our Season 3 Corruption fundraiser. All the money that we raise from these fundraisers go to prize pools for Season 3. We're hoping to actually raise enough money to do other things with it as well. We'll see what happens. Season 1's winners got customized wallets with their team's name on it and their gamer tag on it. We haven't decided what the prize is yet for Season 3, but this money will go towards it. You can see in the bottom there, we got T-shirts. We got men's T-shirts, women's T-shirts. Cassidy, we got your tank tops.
Oh, and they're in cool colors. Orange, red, and blue.
You got the hoodie again, which I have the hoodie from the last drive. I was so pumped that we're doing this again because it is so worn out. That thing's comfortable as shit. I've worn it 1,000 times since I bought it. Cannot tell you how pleased I was with it. And a new edition of stickers. So if you're like me and you bring a laptop to your fireside and you want to slap a THL sticker on the top of your laptop, I'm pretty pumped about that. So get at it.
Oh my god.
And
Feels
remember,
good, man.
100% of these proceeds go back into the league. Um, it's not going into my pocket.
Not getting skamazed.
It's
Don't
not
worry.
getting skamazed. So get them while you can. I didn't see the bomb there, Scott. You have 21 days to get these,
Oh yeah, June 9th.
so
Beautiful.
you got some time. If you're like me, you get paid every other week. You got enough time to wait till next paycheck to do it. Make sure it's in by June 9th, and represent THL wherever you go. They are in division colors, so you can even get your shirt or your hoodie in your division's color if you are that much of a role player. I'm fucking doing it. You better do it too.
I would, but oh wait, no, that green looks good. I might do the green T-shirt. That lighter. Oh, ooh. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, sorry.
I think I'm gonna get one of every tank top.
Cassie thinks this
You know,
team's-
I did not get a
I
T-shirt
love
last
my
time.
tank tops. It's like 110 degrees down here in the summer.
I did not get a T-shirt last time. I think I think I need a T-shirt, a hoodie, and some stickers. That's my plan, just in case anyone wants to know what I'm purchasing.
Hamboy says Father's Day is coming up. Makes a great gift. Tell my kids.
All right, so there's your PSA on that. THL, please help us give season 3 winners a
Oh
cool
man,
prize.
the green hoodie looks beautiful.
Right?
Too bad I live in Texas.
So moving forward from our awesome fundraiser, we have our Q&A section.
Wait, what about the meta?
Where's the meta? It's not listed in here.
Yeah, it is. I'm highlighting it.
Oh.
I don't know. I just thought it'd be interesting. There is this really interesting article I saw on the Reddits, as I so normally do. The Liquid Hearth website posted a neat little thing where they posted the frequency of archetypes submitted for the NA prelims in comparison with the European ones, even. And there's some really interesting differences here between NA and EU that I thought might be kind of cool to look at, as we're only several weeks now in the expansion. So these changes are kind of neat to look at, and they concern some of our own players. So
Yeah, I was looking through that link and the various breakdown of what's being brought and what's not. And you know, I want to ask a question that was asked in the Q&A that this might help us answer.
okay,
Coming from Salt, where Salt was asking, is this an aggro meta, control meta, combo meta? It finally truly feels like a meta triangle. So do you think we'll continue to see this rock, paper, scissors, or no? I think as we look at what what is being brought within the prelims, may give us the information we need to answer that question.
yeah. So as for what kind of so Salt's question here, as for what kind of meta it is it aggro meta? Zoo is pretty prevalent as a whole, and aggro shaman's on the decline for the NA preliminary. A lot more people are bringing the mid-range shaman, and as far as mid-range deck goes, not many people are bringing hunter. I guess you can call this tempo warrior mid-range. So that's about it for mid-range decks. As far as combo goes, you got Miracle Rogue, and what really qualifies as control these days? Nazoth Paladin is one of the biggest drops for NA prelims, and Control Warrior is a big drop too for prelims. So whatever the players are preparing for, they're bringing a lot fewer control decks and definitely bringing more of the mid-rangey aggressive stuff. It's starting to look like, and I don't know what their bans are planned. My guess is quite a bit of shaman, but yeah, I don't know. It's very diverse, that's for sure. It's really hard to peg what's going on.
Yeah, I think we touched on earlier, or at least I was stating earlier, you guys seem to agree. What is working this week might be out the window next week. I feel like things are shifting. Everything's in such a flux right now that it's kind of hard to nail down what's going on. That first
what
week,
we noticed with Team Rank 5 is I think every deck loses hard to at least one other, like one if not two other decks. And so it's more about like these players are figuring out, okay, how can I like hedge my lineup so that I don't lose as hard to what I normally lose hard to, and then how can I like prepare for what I expect to see a lot of, because when you play in a tournament, it's a lot different than THL, where you're trying to beat one opponent one time. Like you have to assume you're figuring out what most of the field's going to be playing and how you beat it. So there's some really interesting techs going on here. Like Dear Jason's aggro shaman has South Sea deckhands in it, and it has like a Stormforged axe and like super fast, like kill you on turn 3 fast. So it's really cool to see that going on. As for the meta, I don't know. I think we're like in a very balanced meta. Slim's just kind of alluding to it. We have good mid-range decks. We have good control decks. I don't know what you classify as combo versus control. Like, is Freeze Mage a combo deck or a control deck? I don't know. Um, but like, we have good fast decks. We have good slow decks. We have good in-between decks. We have decks that like tempo. We have decks that like value. I don't know. I feel like no matter what kind of Hearthstone player you are, there's a deck you can hit Legend with right now, and that's pretty cool. So, feels good, man.
Yeah, what they said. I really don't think I could add anything to it without repeating exactly what was said there. Um, feels balanced, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting though because whatever the case is, like there's been a huge increase for the NA individuals. At least they're really bringing a lot more freeze mage. They're really bringing a lot more Reno warlock. So maybe that's to kill aggressive decks. For some reason, there's a lot more aggro paladin. I saw that not in like huge quantities, but
Because it
I don't know.
crushes other aggro decks, I guess. All the divine shields.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff happening, but on top of them all is Miracle Rogue. So maybe that's a deck people are really looking to beat a lot. I mean, N'Zoth Paladin numbers are way down, and that might be why. Because Miracle Rogue's pretty good against that deck, and I don't think that people must not be really looking to ban Miracle Rogue. Although I think that'd be kind of a cool deck to ban. I mean, Rogue's really strong. It can definitely punish your decks like Reno Warlock, N'Zoth Paladin.
Mm-hmm.
Those are still pretty popular, all things considered. So yeah, I don't know. Although Freeze Mage is good against it, so you can see a few patterns in here. It's really interesting. I'm gonna be excited to watch it.
On the feels bad front, this has nothing to do with the prelims. Just got word from Furpo, 2-3 loss.
Bible thumb.
Bible thump. So we got that to the results.
Furpo, go play on ladder
Yeah, right.
or no balls.
So now we can move on to the Q&A.
Well, we got Salt's question.
We did. We got it in there. And we have to double check my lineups and see if I'm playing a couple of those barely 0.21% things. Who is Mr. Matt Love? What's his beta
He's
tag?
not on a team. I don't know what his battle tag is.
Oh God, I asked for what his battle tag was a while.
Come on, man.
I threw this thing together all by myself.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Um,
Tried.
Slim's just the real MVP. So, Matt Lowe, whoever you are, asked, any thoughts on no PR division, separate from the existing PR division, but where players can compete in both? That's kind of the SPL. I don't know if you're looking for something that's a little more.
Maticus.
Oh, he's Maticus. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's good to give a shout out to Maticus. I don't know, man. I kind of feel like we have something like that in the SPL, but we have also talked about a million and one options for how the league can expand. And I'm not sure if that one has come up exactly. Have we mentioned a no PR?
Yeah, like an elite level. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So
Suprema like that.
we've talked about all these kinds of options. We don't know anything for sure, but there's constantly conversations of how's the league going to evolve, how's the league going to improve, and maybe that's something we'll talk about next time.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting thought. I think we like the PR system quite a bit. It's very core.
It's kind of what
THL
makes
is.
Yeah, exactly. It is THL.
We
Right.
have our quote unquote potatoes that we're so fond of. You wouldn't see that in many other places.
I think if we did an elite level deal like that, we'd have to do it in a way kind of like what the Archon Team League did, where players competed literally as a team. I think otherwise it's just a bunch of people playing Hearthstone with no limit, and then they just happen to be under the same like group. So
Like the Star Ladder series or something.
yeah, yeah, and I would be fine with doing that if we wanted to do like a THL like All Star series, not like a weekend of memes, but more so like you compete individually against the other individuals. Maybe we pick like 12 and you just like you play a match in that on top of your THL match every week, and then we can have fun and see who wins that at the end of the season, maybe down the line. It would have to be something a little different formatted because the format we have now for matches, I think, lends itself to a PR system, and if you take
Mm-hmm.
one out, you probably have to change the other half of that.
Right. I mean, the other thing too is like part of the identity of who THL is like this super competitive every man's league, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
The softball league that we all get drunk at, but then we yell at the umpire in the middle of.
yeah, exactly. But I definitely I won't lie. I enjoyed watching the few ATLC things we've done, some of our show matches and stuff. I would definitely tune into something like that every week if it happened. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's an option. It's a good thought. And as I was saying, the board's always talking about how to evolve. I mean, that's how the SPL came out. You know, a few guys threw around the idea of this development league where people can learn how the THL works and get involved, and it came to be. So who knows what will evolve from conversations like this?
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Next up on the docket comes from my boy Smoked Salmon. And we've talked about this a little bit tonight, but to just kind of to drill the nail home here. With spring prelims this weekend, how do you think Supreme, with 3 players qualified, will perform this week? And are they vulnerable right now?
I don't want to say this too much to expose their strategies, but I think for the most part they're just bringing their prelim lineups to THL,
Yeah, I would assume so.
probably with bans included. So I don't know that that makes them necessarily vulnerable. It might be a strength, it might be a weakness because what's happening in THL might not really reflect what's happening as a whole in the prelims coming up. So I don't know. We've seen them go 50-50 so far. Um, I tend to think that it's just like a normal week for these guys. They juggle so much Hearthstone, like even outside the league, they're constantly playing in online tournaments and everything like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's probably slightly harder than normal, but I think they can handle it.
Yeah, I think these guys are used to doing it. You know, they're not. Dear Jason, Cheesy, and Racy are not new to this competitive thing at all. So I don't see it as being a vulnerable week. Their focus might be elsewhere, but I don't think it'll impact their play.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think don't think it's gonna make it too big of a difference because there's not a lot of data out there to analyze anyway yet because you can't like
Mm-hmm.
prepare for one specific opponent currently. So they're just bringing strong conquest lineups to this, and they already had to submit their deck list for prelims, so it's not even like they're testing anything anymore.
Right. Moving forward to a question from Parker that I'm going to essentially paraphrase here. Uh, MV Parker asks, because we've never had a week one where we've had this format change of standard, and whispers come out with so little prep time, right? We had what, a week and a half with it before week one started.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think that is what contributed to some teams doing better than expected and other teams not doing as well as expected? Absolutely is my answer.
Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely something up with what had happened. Like all these three, or me. No, there's another question. No, that's Eric's question. I won't.
Well, we could. I think we should actually tie
We
those
could
two
combine
together.
these two.
Yeah, because
Okay.
so to also elaborate here, Necro Havoc points out um, there was an unusual amount of 3-0s for week one, Are there any theories to this? I think this kind of ties into the changes we've had to experience so close to the start of the season. But go ahead there, Slumsh.
Yeah, so three O's are typically very rare in Conquest. It's hard to get swept because as the one player continues to win, their pool of available decks shrinkens. And normally in a lot of tournaments, players wouldn't care what they queued up necessarily. But in THL, you don't. If you're going to lose, nobody wants to lose. But if you get a point or two, that's a lot better than getting none. So yeah, it's maybe there's a certain unpredictability in what classes where people were bringing, so they may not have known what to line up necessarily well as things shrunk down, like as the opponent went up 2-0, etc. Because I think in cases like where I could give an example of in week one, Jing Buddha went up 2-0. His last class was Hunter. People generally have a pretty good idea of Hunter and what it is, and that series started to slip away for a little while until the very worst matchup was left. So yeah, I don't know. That would come to my mind. I don't know that it was necessarily raw preparation on the other side, but maybe just the format was harder to navigate
Yeah.
with things being so uneasy. I don't know.
Yeah, I had a couple thoughts about the three O's. Talking to Imbolc too. Number one is, I don't want to name names, but I saw some bad decks. Just because we don't have any like net decks to net deck yet, and so people who aren't used to building decks are being forced to build decks, and sometimes the results are ugly, so they're getting swept on that specific deck. And then the other thought is that we were in such an established meta for so long that everybody knew, okay, if I brought Zoo and my opponent has Druid left to win with, I'm going to switch to my Zoo deck because it beats Druid, etc. And that doesn't quite exist yet. And so a lot of players are just like, well, I'm going to queue up this, whatever, queue it up again, because you don't know, okay, I can get an easy point here if I switch to this deck to go up against that deck. So maybe I lose 3-1 instead of 3-0. And so I think we see a lot of 3-0s kind of stemming from one, people, playing their cool deck that they threw together that just doesn't win, or B, not knowing when to switch and what to switch to try to get those wins and those points for their team.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how I could elaborate on that any further. I definitely feel as I myself was a victim of. Um, it's kind of hard in this meta to know where your deck stands,
Yeah.
especially if you've got some sort of a homebrew thing going on to it. Um, and knowing exactly what to put your opponent on. I've seen some crazy stuff on there that it's crazy stuff that works. Prior to Tavern Talk tonight, we were talking about what was that dragon we were talking about?
The trap.
Dragon Tempo Warrior.
Oh
Yeah,
god, yeah, I queued into some.
Awesome.
I don't know who they were, but they were 40 legend playing a deck with everything from uh, Alex Strauss's Champion, Defrauding Berserker, to Korkron Elite, to Deathwing Dragon Lord, and Alex Strauza, and Draconoid Crusher. So there's some crazy stuff out there that people are still experimenting with, and I don't know. That's just like a warrior thing. It seems like there's 6 warrior decks out there that people are playing.
Oh my God, Tempo whatever Warrior. It's just wrong. Okay, stop doing it, people. I hate it. Like I've played it and the deck's kind of good, but like it's just not Warrior, man. There's so many other tempo classes. Leave it alone. My
leave it
Cairn and my
alone.
Arch Thief Rafam, such tempo plays.
Uh,
Such tempo plays. Also, kudos to Dear Jason, whose tempo warrior does not include Archthiefer
Oh,
or
thank you, Jason.
or Varian Rin.
Oh, he doesn't have Variant either.
No, I guess he doesn't like the fatigue or something.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's pretty strong, but maybe it's not necessary. I don't know. I thought his decks were interesting on the site.
Yeah, it was Parker who said it best in a Discord call. He said, if you want to play warrior, but you don't want to play control, you just got to assume the rogue back face, count up your mana, and play all your cards out of your tempo warrior deck list, and you're going to win sometimes.
Tempo warriors are hybridized face warriors. I'm convinced by it. I've seen them across the table. I've seen the broke back face as they just go.
Yeah,
Go,
they just,
smart.
I mean, you're curving out as a warrior. It's so wrong. Like, you're never armoring up.
Yeah.
Oh, you blood to Icker that Divine Shield away to summon that 2/2. Nice card. Like, oh.
Oh man. So I think we have the general consensus here of who the fuck knows what's going on in Hearthstone right now. And sometimes that's exciting and new and different and great. And other times it just leaves you feeling bad, man. It makes you feel like Cassie and I. It feels like dying, man.
Yeah, man.
I hope you guys don't die. It would
No,
make me
we're not going to.
very sad.
Actually, as we combined Necros and we talked about salts earlier, that actually concludes our Q&A. And while we have a few minutes left, I know that Cassie's got his game going on. He's dying over here, listening to in the background.
Checking the website furiously.
I've got some medicine to make sure that I did or did not take. Oh God, it really does feel like dying, man. So we're gonna have to jump into parting thoughts here. I know the manlet's gonna cry.
I'm gonna cry.
But Mr. Manlet, the one and only Bearded Beauty, what have you got for the folks at home tonight before we depart?
For the folks at home, I've got nothing but looking forward to, of course, the spring prelims. Good luck to all the THL folks who are involved. Team Reg Friday, we're having Jack Sox versus Nubasaurus. And, of course, I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't mention Salty Saturday again, because I'm really excited to be casting and producing that. So hopefully nothing goes wrong. I'm probably going to practice a few times. So... yeah, that's about it. Hoping for some better luck for my team this week, and just really excited to continue trying out this format and seeing what might stick. So, yeah, really excited to buy probably about 2 shirts, a tank top, and a hoodie, and 4 stickers.
Wow.
Where's that link again?
You're almost buying as much as me. I'm not even joking. I want a THL shirt for every day of the week. Mr. Cassidy, your thoughts before we depart this evening?
Thanks for tuning in as always, guys. Go Team Rank 5, go Cavs.
All right. Guys, as always, it's awesome to be able to do this every Thursday night. Super cool. After feeling like shit all week, it felt really good to have something to be excited for on Thursday night, as I always am. Give me a couple weeks. I'll be back to my drunken Irish self on here. For those interested, we're going to have a little THL bonding time in the Discord. We're going to do a little Town of Salem. For those of you who enjoy that kind of thing and want to hang out and get to know some of the THL folks, you can catch myself, or hopefully D-Lyman will be in there too as we set it up. But until then, buy some shirts, support our Season 3 winners, and go Entropy, because apparently we do that at Exits now.
Feels Entropy, man.
Feels Entropy, man. Thank you, guys. We'll be here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.